Hello and welcome to Sarah J Media Live on YouTube and Facebook, and welcome to the Thursday edition. We now how to go inside the Republic. If you're just joining in for the first time, we want to make you subscribe and then you follow me on Facebook and YouTube. Well, today is another day, and like I say, this is Sarah J Media Live, and we do how to go inside the Republic. Well, how they go to go inside the Republic done there for a while now, and we don't bring come a lot of updates for owner with viewers and fans then with all of our Facebook and YouTube, and we don't do so many different programs then within the past couple of years. And this particular time around, we just to focus on one specific program. Where I feel to say now everybody they look forward to. Politics has played a great role within our community. We know for the politics now the go to program that way everybody to follow you with, but we want to make sure say we'll not just stick on politics, because again there are so many other things happening within the community. We get for dudes the reality of life. Some of them thing and then entertainment for one. You get charity organizations, then where they run their stuff. Now two, you get social entities, them alumni schools, and so many other different organizations they were within the UK. And then you get the business sector back as well. So with the sky for bringing so many programs, then where they incorporate all the elements of things they also where they happen within the community in the diaspora, and also possibly in Sierra Leone. We know for say things are not easy down there. Things are very much challenging. So that make we get how to go inside the Republic. And the Republic don't stand for be challenging over the past couple of years, and we don't see the way how the Republic they go like a wave, an ocean wave way not stable. It go high, it come low, and then it regulate itself, and it put itself in the position where some thinking they it want for be. Sometimes it put itself in the position where some thinking they it not want for be at all. So that has been the issue where they happen inside the Republic. So today we can do a review and analysis of what's in the happen at the Republic for the past week or two maybe. We don't see a lot of drama the way they happen within the Republic. We don't see the challenges of various different activities the way they happen inside APC as a political party. We also don't see the few challenges the way they happen inside the SLPP as a political party. And we also don't see things the way they happen within the diaspora. Of course, we don't do the holiday saga that they don't done. We know for say the holiday gets in disaster we bring come for people them, and you get some way you can go back for people them. But we don't left that one day now. We don't done January, February, and then almost they go halfway. So by tomorrow Saturday, now almost halfway of February we don't go, because February you know say you know always complete. Again, at the month where we born, and at the month that we put premium per as Sierra Leoneans, then we born, or not just Sierra Leoneans, people who are born inside February are deemed to be people who are very lovely. So if you're not February picking now for not saying a lovely person, and you definitely get what it takes to be a lovely individual, and we start sign now water biara. And you know, say anybody with the beer water and possibly bring can peace, joy, love, and harmony for anybody else way they seek that water day. Because water now the source of all success in life. If you not get water, you need able for live. So man cannot live without water, and we now the water bearer. So basically, that's why now we get the best star sign. If you look at the star sign of the horoscope, then you're talking about Aquarians. We are the water carrier. But anyway, that's now just some extra we are bringing. And I want to make you know for say today is an interactive program. I'm not going to say calling, but I think at some point, if you want for calling, we will put the number out if we need for make we do a calling show. But we can take text messages. We can follow up with the chat. If you get any question you want for send out the chat, please do, because we follow up with the chat questions then, and we go take questions then from the chat and we respond to them if we can, and we respond to them if we cannot. We go tell you side for go for likable for respond, or let them give you answers to possibly what you ask for. So like I say, we will do a review of what has been happening in Sierra Leone and in the diaspora for the past couple of weeks. I would say 2 weeks. We need to go too far, but let's just take it 2 weeks down the line. One thing for someone for say, the political and the social media outlets the way they within the diaspora in Freetown we don't be very much engaging this week. A lot of activities don't happen this week. You get things that we don't happen at Freetown, things that we don't happen at the province, things that we don't happen at the diaspora. We got, of course, we get the Americans, we get the people that waiting at UK, and we get the other drama that happen at the sub-regions that waiting inside Europe, and also the other sub-regions that waiting inside Africa. Especially to West Africa, we get serious other issues that really happen around. We don't see government don't change in Guinea from military now to civilian. Again, there are some elements of Cuscas maybe they happened in at the prison break. We don't know whether it's a prison break, but then we get some gunfire at the prison area where being a serious concern. But those security concern has been put to rest. For say now ex-military don't turn to civilians. So definitely security apparatus is still high standard. So basically, they need to joke with them at all. No messing around with that. So basically, everything is under control now, and I think so that region is possibly safe, and activities they go on as usual with no concern of any other thing where people are going to feel say they happen in that particular sub-region they were next to we in Guinea. But apart from that, we will all see some of the things that will happen as alone inside the past 2 weeks. We don't see the drama we don't happen with the things the way they happen, where they unfold. One of which now APC do them, well, they say press conference, but it was a press conference indeed. And we see the amount of turnouts where the party gets at a particular press conference in Atuga Stadium. We don't bring a couple of other issues them surrounding the press conference. We did discuss that today. Then one of the topic of discussion, not too much on that, but we will talk about Andy just briefly. Then the next topic of discussion we will talk about is the interview of the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, with Dengiam from AYV. Actually, they took the studio of AYV to her workplace. So basically, that is another topic of discussion we can talk about today. And we go analyze the interview, and I go talk a little bit about some of the things that we are concerned with the interview. And we also talk about the feedback of the interview, the thing that the interview don't create within the discourse of SLPP, and also the thing that the interview don't create within within Freetown, specifically with the response of a specific individual when Edwina Jamiru in response to the First Lady interview, where he specifically mentioned he mentioned something for do it. I know that's a very topic of discussion where Boku people in they avoid. I don't know the reason why, but I think this is a topic that needs to be discussed in detail, because the Edwina Jamiru situation over the past year or two don't create some serious concern and test case of the judiciary, whether it is in operation or not. Because we know for say over the past couple of years, anything we get for do with government issues, they're really against government policies, government principles, government actions, the government in power, they say na politics. So basically, it's always a political fight against the government in power. But this Edwina Jamiru in case don't create a huge element of judiciary concern. We get nothing, we're not getting nothing for the politics at all. But again, we don't see the transition of how the judiciary they deal with this particular case. We're not getting no political connotation. They might want for bring politics in, but it hasn't worked at all in any way, shape, or form. So we got to talk about that in the back as well. Like we actually analyze some of them things there, so people and they find very difficult for talk about. Because the reason being, everybody is cautious. Everybody is trying to play safe. And you don't want to be in politics and you're playing safe, because whether you say it or you don't say it, as a politician or somebody really involved in the dispensation of talking about things that happen in Sierra Leone, then you should be able to tackle every single element of the thing. Sometimes people say, it's not my fight, so I'm not going to get involved in it. But it will not be your fight today. It might be your fight tomorrow, or the other day after, or maybe even next week, next month, or next year. So avoiding the situation, yes, it might be good, but also looking at the situation, raising concerns of the situation can also be good, because they highlight certain things in a way sometimes people only pay attention to. We're going to begin maybe pay attention to them particular thing. That now the other discussion where they get surrounding news updates of wetin dey happen at Salone in the diaspora. The other one go be a slight discussions on small little things then we get for do with tourism, the cardinal in visits to Sierra Leone, what does that mean? And then another one way very serious now the interpretation of the law in Sierra Leone. Who interprets the law? And wetin make the person where they interpret the law na Salone better than the one that way puts the law together? That's a very serious question. But the majority of the discussion where they get for surround a lot around the judiciary. Because the judiciary of Sierra Leone are always done they say na the issue we make Salone de Usaide so. Because justice has not been given to those who deserve it, regardless of their political positions, regardless of their gender, regardless of their tribes, and regardless of their wealth. That has been a very serious issue in Sierra Leone, I would say for well over 30 years. But to be precise, within the past 10 years, it has been very challenging. We've seen the way how the judiciary don't come out from the top. It don't sink down to the level where even the lawyers in a Salone, their credibility are all in stake. As far as I'm concerned, and that is my opinion, reason being, I have approached various different lawyers in different capacities in Sierra Leone, and the feedback what I get from them, not a good feedback at all. There are very serious repercussions of some of the things they waiting to do and the activities they waiting to undergo in Sierra Leone, because they also they look after their own affairs, they look after their own businesses, they look after the cases they themselves they deal with. So they have to play the card right. And that is what I think is wrong within the judiciary of Sierra Leone. So most of the discussion why they get today get for be surrounded primarily around the judiciary system of Sierra Leone. What in the law says, whether they interpret them and why they interpret and the way how they interpret them. But let's start first. I see this week everybody they watch the picture where the president post with the cardinal will come out Italy, and he let somebody tell me what's in the purpose of that particular cardinal to Sierra Leone. Was it a specific visit to the president primarily, or it was a visit for what purpose? Because sometimes we have the tendency for like we know things that are happening in Sierra Leone, but we don't read about the details of what really happens, because we just see headlines and that's it. Nobody wants to see headlines, and picture tells all the stories now in Sierra Leone. But the pictures that we see are not the actual stories of those headlines. And as a media practitioner, not so when I see picture, I dey fall for that news, I need to see more. Because the picture where we see for social media expert them, or the one they read on social media, the one they really propagate, say we are media practitioner, me are journalists, me are this, me are that. It's just a picture. And what does that picture mean? Does that picture mean saying that the event this will happen, or not so the event this will happen? So if somebody is out there that knows exactly why the cardinal from Italy came to Sierra Leone, please tell me. Because I know that very few people, very few, know the reason why he was there. And when I say very few, now possibly the one that we directly connected to the Catholic Church, or maybe the one that we connect to government institution like the presidency office. So we all see the picture. And my interpretation is almost the same interpretation like everybody else. The president is sick for prayers. So either na go or na invite this specific cardinal for cancer alone for can pray for him. That's not the impression where the picture then they show we. The pictures are showing us, or then they illustrate, say, there is somebody who looks like a pope, where cancer alone, or where the president go visit, where they bless him. We don't know why, we don't know where, we don't know how. Because we don't read or we don't know the further details. But the picture that we would see, now that's it, they paint story. So when they paint that story, people don't even have time to read anymore. Everybody just to go with the assumptions. Say, oh yeah, the cardinal can't bless the president. Really? Is that the reason why he was in Sierra Leone? Or is that the reason why he visited the president? So let we not just see picture and we make our own assumption without actually verifying anything. Because if you go into details, you now read beyond the picture, then you know exactly what in the picture stands for. So when you have bloggers that only blog pictures and don't give you caption, and the caption they give you, now the caption where they want to make you know, that's where the problem of information sharing becomes a problem. Because the right information is not being shared properly. The picture information where that blogger or where the narrative where they want to make you go along with, then just the put. So it takes now you as the consumer or the person where they go through this particular article, we see this picture now in social media feed or in TikTok feed, and just assume instead of propagate the same story. That's how we mislead information. So don't just see a picture, assume what the picture is, and then you follow the narrative of the picture because somebody don't blog them. Somebody don't put a caption where you want to make you know. Somebody don't do something where you want to make you follow. Because that is not the reason. But until you read further, then you're able to know exactly what's in the picture represents. Welcome everybody. Welcome Shiva. Like I go to your comment first. When a man of God holds the head of someone with his two hands, it's usually a prayer for complete healing. Exactly so. So that's the impression of the picture. So Sheila, please confirm to me whether that was the impression you get from the picture where you see the man of God lay in two hands on the head of an individual when the president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. It means the president is seeking healing from God, from the man of God. So please correct me if that is exactly what you interpret by the picture you see, because that is a picture that went viral. Is it for a specific reason? Is that picture meant to be a propaganda statement or a real statement? Because that picture in interpretation is not just what you see. But the fact of the matter is, yes, it represents the man of God, when the cardinal we come up from Italy, placed in two hands on the head of the president. It means it bless him or it pray for him, for either for forgiveness or for good life, for good health, for better ruling, for anything. But we don't know. We just see the picture and then we don't assume something. So that is one statement where I want for people to actually pay attention to. If you are coming across pictures online on a regular basis on your social media feed, don't just look at that picture and follow the narrative, because it might be totally deceiving you. So I beg, please, pay attention to details. That is what we don't do in Sierra Leone. And if we continue to pay attention to details, then we'll be able to break into certain narrative. Then we will be either a false narrative or a positive narrative. Let's go back to Shiva again. Yes, that was what I thought. And spiritually, people are really protective of themselves, especially their head. I agree with you, Shiva. And again, like I said to you, Shiva don't confirm say that is exactly what in things say the picture represents. But the purpose of the cardinal to Sierra Leone has nothing to do with that picture. For the fact say he visited the president, just that visit don't overshadow the entire purpose of the cardinal in visit to Sierra Leone. So this is an opportunity that the office of the president saw, either by his aide or his attachés or people that we live very close to him, or people that we work with him. As we all know, He's a Catholic himself, but that now one question way I don't use for the past couple of years. I've never heard, except otherwise, but almost all the time where at the president they make any form of religious statement, now Islamic quotation, you always the give. I have not heard him. I'm not saying he never say I'm all. Maybe he don't say I'm before. But the only time no more when we don't see the president don't make godly statement. Now when he make Islamic quotation, Inshallah and Subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't hear him. He don't say that word several times. In a message for Christmas, in a message for independence, in public messages, the way they always give, it must mention some elements of Subhanahu wa ta'ala. And again, he is Catholic. What do you expect from a Catholic person when they make a prayerful statement? Is either he will mention something for do with the rosary or the sign of the cross in the name of the Father, or the God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Ghost. 3 in 1. So he always go mention something of those 3 elements, especially if a Catholic person. So the elements of this particular incident is totally different. It don't deviate from the initial visit of the Cardinal Wickham Saloon. Let me tell you why he was in Sierra Leone. So the Cardinal came to Sierra Leone as one of the most senior and highly respected figure within the Catholic Church. And he noted that his visit includes an inspection of the Love Bridge project in Lokomasama Chiefdom. Yeah. So in purpose for Kana Salon, now for can inspect a project inside Lokomasama Chiefdom, Port Local District to be precise. Usai then established a hospital for the past 15 years, and that hospital will don't continue to provide critical health care, particularly to the poor. The projects reflect the church's commitment to living the gospel through service. How many people are not saying that the Cardinal come from a salon? How many? Let's be very honest. Yes, Hail Mary, Mother of God. I'm not laughing about this. I'm just listening. I'm just making a statement to what Shibasi. But look, we be honest to we. How many people them actually know say the purpose of the Cardinal to Sierra Leone was to inspect a project where don't they exist now Lokomasama Chiefdom for over 15 years. And then they provide service, medical service. So you see the problem there. But you can only find that particular documents there where you deep further. And dipping further means you get for now go, okay, Usai come across this document na State House website. Because they will actually put out the right purpose of the Cardinal in visit, backed up by a special visit to the president. That is what they did. But the whole period of all this Cardinal in visit to Sierra Leone, nobody have seen a single picture where they depict Usai Igo. Now, Lokomasama Chiefdom. Nobody saw a single picture, a very influential individual. We come all the way from Italy, representing the Catholic Church, came to Sierra Leone on a specific visit, and nobody knows why he was there, except when they see where he lay in hand, now the president in aid, in the offer and prayers. That is the only thing we know say happen. So, is that a propaganda media strategy, or they took advantage of the fact that this individual is around, is a high profile somebody from the Catholic Church from Italy, we should make do of his presence. That is primarily what happens. So when we look at issues the way they happen around certain media contents, then we will be very mindful of how we interpret them, of how we assume, say, this is the fact, and then we follow that fact and begin one with the narrative, which is always a wrong narrative. So we have to be very careful, because if you're not careful, now we all propagate wrong information. And by doing so, you said they see that picture there, you help for share them, you help for post them, you help for put them out there to the public, say the purpose of that particular visit was to the president, and it wasn't. The purpose was to inspect a project that has been running for 15 years in Lokomasama. We get for do with health, for provide healthcare services for the poor people of that particular area. So just imagine how that information they don't go to waste. Just imagine how that information will get so much value, significance to the people of Lokomasama has been taken away. Did we see any picture? Then show we any, because this is not the job now of the Catholic Church. But the Catholic Church decided for specifically ignore all of those propaganda images. Okay, now not say propaganda. They decide to ignore all of those positive images of the cardinal in Lokomasama. It does not exist, and then focus on the visit to the president. So that is a very huge concern, because if we get high-profile individual like Edani, they visit project them where they know they support for the past 15 years, which kind of message they give to other people and we don't do similar kind of project in Sierra Leone? We might not get the influence for go visit the president. So those projects are going to be sinking down the drain. They will be deemed as irrelevant. So to hijack a situation like that, yes, it's good for propaganda purpose for the president and in office, but also it's a concern, say, the projects where the cardinal account for is not even propagated to the people of Sierra Leone. And that would have been a big boost for the Catholic Church in Sierra Leone. That would have been a big morale booster. Say, you get this high profile. This is not somebody we don't the surrounding of the Pope, of popes in the past. So basically, he's a very high profile member of the Catholic Church from Italy. So if we don't help for galvanize, rally around the Catholic churches in Sierra Leone for them and give them a warm welcome than then specifically get in visit just to the president and then blow him up in a scale at which everybody feels to say, now for the president, he can visit Nasalon specifically. I am not saying that is wrong, but all I'm saying is the actual purpose of his visit should also be propagated to the entire Sierra Leone community or to the entire Catholic community. But you tell me, if you're not Catholic and you're out there, if you come across any picture of the candidate or of the cardinal we come visit Nasalon, you tell me if you see any picture of him na Lokomasama. Tell me if you see any picture of him na the project we can visit. Tell me if you see any picture of him now the hospital way is supposed for can see the activities that will happen. And this particular cardinal also they send people away now qualified doctors the way they come on Italy where they can salon now this particular hospital for can do services them to people that we poor. Those services might be operations, minor, major ones. They will come with medical supplies. What is the Catholic Church doing to propagate that sort of positive outcome when they get from the main church of Catholicism from Italy? Why are they not propagating that? Well, it made headlines for a different reason, but the actual purpose did not make any headlines. But for the fact say you get for dig more, don't just fall for the picture. It gives you the knowledge of learning. It gives you the knowledge of knowing how news can be propagated for the wrong reason. So I beg, please, next time when you watch the picture, not just fall for the picture, look at the other things that were surrounded by the picture, or just look at the surrounding of the picture, because it might tell you a better story than just the picture and the caption. The bloggers, they will do that, decide for you, for make you know. That's a choice of individual bloggers. Some of them will give you a positive quotation. Some of them will give you a negative one. Some will not even put any caption. They'll just post the picture. You make up your mind and tell me what you feel. You think now what you think, but that's the picture. We don't see them. They don't send them to we. We go help for share them. Period. Why I help for share them? I say, but what's in that happen? I don't share the post now for saying small thing. That's what it is. So for that reason, we have to be very mindful of how we propagate information. We get to go a little bit deeper and finding out about those real stories. Then we're going to know exactly why those stories are relevant. Because if I was going with the narrative, say, that particular picture then at the purpose of the visit of the Cardinal to Sierra Leone, then I was wrong. Because it wasn't. Yes, the Cardinal pay a special visit to the president because he's around, and Uda go make that preposition there. Now the Archbishop the Wagana Salon go down get that option. They say, well, we might go and visit the president because he's also a Catholic. But like I say, I don't want to hear the president talk about Catholicism, or it mention something for do with the Bible, or it mention something for do with the Catholic verses them, or the Catholic words them. Because I know for say Catholicism is very spiritual. They have a regimental structure of how they perform their duties in church. I know because I went to a Catholic school myself. So basically, I've seen it all. I don't go plenty Catholic events them. I don't go plenty Catholic funerals. So basically, I know the rituals they're waiting they perform. But I've never seen the president perform any one of those rituals. I've never heard him say, I know the nine say, no, don't say I'm but me no one hear. What's in I go guarantee I don't hear a lot way they talk na subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I don't practice and they don't master them so much that they even slow for say I see him go to mosque regularly more than actually seeing him going to church. I'm not saying he's not Catholic, but for any time he goes to church, we don't get to see those pictures. But anytime he goes to the masjid, we will see those pictures. Anytime he visits a mosque, we will see those pictures. Anytime he officiates any event that has to do with Islam, we will see those pictures. But we don't get to see him. Well, I don't. And I'm always following State House. I am a follower of State House, their website. I'm always watching what happens there and their activities. I don't get to see those pictures. I don't get to see those broadcasts. I get to see few, little, or none at all of anything we get to do with religious elements we get to do with Catholicism. All I see is Islam, Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, and the rest. But let's move on. That's not just lesson for make you learn. Not fall for the picture, dig beyond the picture, and find out more about what in the picture say. Also, I go through social media feed and I see a lot of stuff happening with the Senegal Dakar rally and the Mali Bamako rally, we don't they happen over the past couple of weeks in Salon. And very interesting drama back unfold on that one day. And I know for say tourism in Sierra Leone has played a great role. No disrespect to the Minister of Tourism right now. I know she can do more. Even though she's trying, but I believe she can do more. And she is celebrating. I don't know what, but she seems to be celebrating success of tourism in Sierra Leone. How do we measure that? How do we measure that? Are we measuring success through tourism in Sierra Leone by the amount of Sierra Leoneans flying to Sierra Leone, or actually tourists flying to Sierra Leone as tourists? I've been to a couple of WTO in the UK, and I have seen the way the Sierra Leone booths present themselves to the world, as in a spot for tourist attraction. Yes, we have all the resources. We have all the areas or resorts that you can go and explore as a tourist. We have a raw area that deals with so many things that has to do with ecotourism. We have the landscape, we have the vegetation, we have the wildlife. We have a lot of tourist attraction in Sierra Leone, a lot. Some areas are still untouched because we have some forestation where I don't feel to say mankind or Sierra Leoneans have ever explored. The tourists board the sky now, then they go to the interiors of Sierra Leone, as in the upper lands. Then they go in the interiors of Kabbalah, some of the interiors of Kailaun. These are the deep forests in Sierra Leone. and some of the interiors of Kono, share boundary with Kailan and Kabbalah. These are the areas that have deep forestation. And the kind of wildlife within that forestation, and we see few years ago we didn't say them fan, was it elephants or so, we didn't say Kamna land. Those are the areas where elephants are groomed on their own. Wildlife, not actually being traced. We have so much wildlife in Sierra Leone, but it's still on tap. So I don't know how the Ministry of Tourism, they measure success of the tourist industry. But let me give an example of what I read a couple of days ago. The national director of the National Tourist Board say, he make a press conference. Now you building or Miata for highlight the fact say Sierra Leone is expecting about 1,200 plus tourists coming to Sierra Leone for the Budapest Bamako Rally final laps they happen na Salon and then last junction. And that is a very proud moment. I'll tell you why that's a proud moment and the downside to it. Okay, we agree that Sierra Leone is going to be attracting about 1,200 foreigners coming to Sierra Leone specifically for the Budapest Bamako Rally final stage we get for Enna Salon. I think it happened last week or 2 weeks ago, if I'm not too sure. But now let me tell you the advantage of that to Sierra Leone. Yes, we know for say na important events than they. And the event so important that it don't get following for almost 30 to 40 or 50 years even. Because that has been a long-standing rally where maybe don't know about for long. If they call on the Senegal Dakar rally before, now na Budapest, because na France they come out, the Paris Dakar rally, where they get them Peugeot, then way they take the highway, the rugged roads of the desert and the mountainous drives them from Paris all the way to Senegal Dakar. That has been the rally that has been going on for decades. I am aware of it. But now this is the Budapest one, we possibly not too long ago we are not begin for Duam. And it go to Bamako rally. It go to Mali. Now, Salon end up for be the destination for the final destination. And people don't know the reason behind that. I am not assuming, I am just reading between the lines of what organizers will possibly likely do when they get to a situation wherein they cannot deal with some realities of what is happening on the ground. We all know say Mali is not a state that everybody will be comfortable to go through. They're still under military rule. They've just had a military government a couple of years ago. And they don't move away from the French colony they try for reinstate themselves between Mali, Burkina Faso, and I think in Guinea-Bissau. So those three countries are moving like a force together. They're practically forming their own region anyway, because they don't come out of ECOWAS. I think they will bring them back into AU, but I'm not too sure about that yet. But they exempted themselves away from it. They formed their own passport for those three countries to roam around themselves without no visa restrictions, and they not even begin to include some other countries. Them say we don't need a visa to come to our country because we are all in Africa, just like the Europeans are doing. That is exactly what they're trying to establish themselves. But this Budapest Dakar rally, Bamako Mali, Budapest Bamako rally will not actually end in Bamako. Because we all know what happens in Bamako right now. Bamako is not really a place for business for these people. So to move it to Sierra Leone is the best choice for them because they will be very comfortable and relaxed in Sierra Leone. Because Sierra Leone is a democratic state. My assumption. So for them for take the risk for go end the rally na Mali, where na a junta state, it will be very difficult for them in terms of the protocol that they might have to go through and everything that they might have to go through. So they will either decide for go take and go na Salon. Because Guinea again is already not too stable because they don't come off from military changeover to civilian. Of course, Liberia get their own issue. So they will have to bring it to civilian who side and feel to say safe and go create some elements of tourist attraction for the people that really come. But the downside of this now will be waiting we beach then Talek. So if the director of National Tourist Board realize say Salon they attract 1,200 tourists the way they can at Salon within this period where they can end this rally na Freetown, what thing will be the first thing where they can in mind? And to be precise, the office of Sierra Leone Tourist Board, then a beach, Lumley Beach, just behind the police, well, next to the police station, not to behind, next to the police station. Now, they the Sierra Leone Tourist Board building there. And we all see what happen at that beach there for the past 60 or 45 days. Now, an individual now decide for clean the beach. Heading towards Christmas or towards December, the beach was deplorable. It then has some kind of deplorable state where you no go even feel for working at the stand. So that's the state of the beach where they right now the front face of the ministry, of tourist, Sierra Leone Tourist Board, na Lumley Beach, just next to Kalong in car park. And you will see how the beach been there in some massive big mess. And then they attract 1,200 visitors for Kana Salon, where their first point of contact for beach, now Lumley Beach. And you see them, you know, do nothing about it, and you proudly say tourism the boom na Salon. How? So you avoid Lumley Beach and you escort all these 1,200 Sierra Leone foreigners the way they propose say they can Salon to side number 2 beach. That's possibly what may have happened. So Lumley Beach when at the first point of the lovely beaches we're gonna Salon has been abandoned. They don't care about it anymore. And the worst of it all, it right fronts the tourist board office. Now Lumley Day. Really? So you abandon your front door and you take your guest further into the other side of Freetown, where you have to go impress them with. And then you have a Ministry of Tourism that is claiming to be successful in Sierra Leone, where the beach they dirty such a way that now one gain individual get for volunteer and say they clean the beach from in your pockets. Are we really serious? Is that the element of success we actually say we get? Is that how we measure success for any industry? Where the first point of call of the tourist industry in a Salon within our front door is as filthy as anything else you can think of? Let's think again, please. So why bring in 1,200 guests into Sierra Leone if you cannot take them to Lumley Beach? And guess what? This Lumley Beach where they avoid, now they all the hotels then they where you go possibly host some of them guests just the way they come. Some of them tourists just the way they come. Because they get all the stable, reliable, and possibly not even 5-star, because that would be too much. Well, 5-star for Salon standard. But now you get the safe, stable, and possible reliable hotels them we go able for host possibly all them guests they also will come as tourists in Sierra Leone. And you know go tell me say when they na Radisson Blue, Mamioko, Hotel Barmoy, and the other hotel them Lighthouse within at the beach side. Some of the guys na the fronts of the beach side. Now they didn't get for go put themselves. Now they didn't get for go either spend time for either get them lunch, breakfast, or whatever it is. So you not prepare that one day. You left that one day for make it dirty as much as they can. Okay, we not care about Lumley Beach. Let Lumley Beach dirty. Now for Saloma and not care, then dirty, they're not clean and able to take care of themselves. Make Lumley Beach dirty. Will not care about them. This is your front door. If you cannot clean your front door, why would you worry about your back door? Because nobody goes to your back door. Nobody sees what happens at your backyard. Your front yard is where you should clean. Then say if you not clean your front door, where breeze blow, now you pala go suffer the consequences. Because if you front door dirty, where the breeze they blow, now outside they go. Now inside you pala. So I don't understand how then they claim for be successful. Yes, there are tourists coming to Sierra Leone, but you no go tell me say the tourists the way they can salon, where then land na Lunge, then they go direct na Port Loko for go to the interiors, for go side and they go see the tourists. No. Yes, some few will do that. It depends to the tourist agency where they deal with their trip. Sometimes maybe yes. It will be difficult for them for come inside Freetown for that first few moments, but as soon as they land inside Salone, we then go to Lunge Airport, then just they take the Port Local axis and they go to the province. Some, yes, because when I attended the last WTA program in London, I had a couple of interviews with some of the tourist agents. The way they build the platform for make we attract more tourists for go Sierra Leone. They mentioned that. Say yes, you get some tourists the way they kind of salon way, then they actually can inside Freetown. But I think that will be their initial first entry. But when they go and finish what they're doing, before they take off back again to their destination where they come off from, they will visit Freetown. There is no way anybody they can salon and not visit Freetown. But that person they come on a specific mission, oh. And you not come for explore Sierra Leone. It maybe come for a specific mission where they take us straight to the province and you not decide for go any side to the main city when Freetown. Because you go and see how the city sound. You go na Spain, you don't know how Madrid are like. You go na France, you know want for go Paris. Except if you have a specific visit, then yes, I go agree say you not go make them visit them because you know want for create issues. You just want to go direct priority campaign, and that's it. Now I go to a few messages that we'll get on Facebook. Then I will come to the YouTube one. They can see what's on YouTube. Okay. So Fode, welcome Fode. It's been a long time. If not the same Fode, this ministry is not serious about promoting tourism in the country. Okay, that's true. Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, not Guinea-Bissau. Thank you very much, Prince Golfer. Yes, it's Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Then Fode say again, kudos to Trevor Young and his volunteers team for cleaning the Lumley Aberdeen beach. Yes, Trevor did that. And then Fode say again, Lumley Aberdeen beach is the face of Freetown City when it comes to tourist attractions, but they careless about taking care of this beach. True. So that is just pretty much what I was saying. Anyway, they don't really care about Lumley Beach because if they say Lumley Beach not important. So let me see what's happening on YouTube. Your topic is not interesting. You keep repeating your topic. Hey, Abdul, I'm happy to say you watch show because this topic we talk about so has not been discussed yet. This is 2026. This is possibly the second show of how the go inside the Republic. The first show of how the go inside the Republic has to do with Christmas Wahala. So this is now the second show of how the go inside the Republic. So I don't know where you're getting this statement from saying we keep repeating the same topic. But anyway, that's your opinion. And again, if you have an opinion about something, we respect it. But you should follow what we do, and then you will know for say we need to talk about the same topic over and over. We hardly discuss topic here twice. And the only topic we don't talk about now so several times now the judiciary. Then we need to avoid them at all. If we get to talk about them 20 times, we will talk about it 20 times. So I don't think you're right in that saying. But anyway, let's move on. All right. So they continue now with the lawyers. Now, the lawyers in Sierra Leone, like I say, a lot of the discussion today is surrounded by the judiciary. The lawyers in Sierra Leone, I don't know what's in that putting that in speciality. But I've got a huge question about the law as a career in civilian. Everybody wants to be a lawyer these days, and the reason for that is very simple. One, when you're a lawyer in civilian, it does not mean you have the law at your hand. It means you're one step ahead of the next person when not a lawyer. Let me tell you why. Because the judiciary in civilian, to me, are the biggest concern. People are not paying attention to it that much, but like I say, are the biggest concern for me. And we have a constitution that has to be interpreted by who? The lawyer then will write the constitution back in the days. They don't challenge them as salon court of law. Say, even what's in and right wrong in interpretation. So who interprets the constitution? Because it's written by lawyers and possibly senior stakeholders or senior citizens or people of IQ, we learn enough, we know what are the social issues of that particular country. We'll come together and put together a constitution. But what if we don't see over the past couple of years now how the law, they take a U-turn on issues that are not meant to be U-turn issues. The law is simple, it's straightforward, it should be interpreted as simple as possible for the layman for understand, not for like intellectual understand though. Because when intellectual put them together, now for like the layman understand, say A plus A na A square. Then B plus B na B square. That's the reason why they interpret the law to be as simple as anything else. But the problem what they get is interpretation of the salon law. If you watch two lawyers them sit down at the table and it's kind for defend not even a case, they try for interpret the law. What in the law will get one interpretation? Why them forget two interpretation? Is it opinion based interpretation or what the law says? Because the law says if you commit X amount of crime, this is not the amount of punishment you get for that crime day. The law says if you commit any crime to the state, this is not the amount of punishment where the states they give you. The law says if you commit any crime to a civilian or another citizen of that same country, this is not the punishment where the state they give you. So my question is, what to make the interpretation of salon law is always different and it only suits the person where they run them at that particular point in time? Because that may not see it happen. So when you get a law where say this now the constitution will forgo by, this now the bylaws, this now the section of the various different elements of the bylaws, why the interpretation? I don't see laws in the facts. Then they walk their head by simple English and then they interpret it differently. What in the law will say if we want for change this rule, now this we for follow. We for make sure say we meet all the threshold criteria for make we change this rule. Bylaws can be discussed. They can change on a regular basis. But anything that is not a bylaw should not be changed just like that. And again, the reason make bylaw they that will make it fit into the real time issues the way they happen within any institution or any country or any state or any side. But the judiciary in Sierra Leone has been challenged in various different capacities, and we see different results, different to what the law for actually states. Let's take Anti-Corruption Commission, for example. How you go interpret the law of chasing criminals in Sierra Leone is different from how somebody when a layman go interpret that same law day for chase criminals in Sierra Leone. So when you look at the legalities of how the law they operate in Sierra Leone, it only suits those in power. And that has been the case for time immemorial. So it's not justifiable at all for make you get a system where only works for the one away the manager. So if you're not part of the management system of that particular law, you fall victim at any time. Even the lawyers themselves they tell you, say, I can't guarantee you this particular case. Or they will have a dialogue in your case and your case go prolong forever. That's why everybody wants to do law in Sierra Leone. If you are the lawyer now are the most richest people in Sierra Leone, the most richest career in Sierra Leone are lawyers. Then they will nobody the question them. Even medicine where people they turn doctors. Doctors are struggling. The one the way they save life, then they struggle for living a salon compared to the way how lawyers then live a flamboyant and luxurious life. How? What's in the magic? What's in the power where they get so much that as soon as they enter into the field, if them in a struggle, whilst they were not lawyers, straight away they begin get big cars, begin get houses, begin live some kind of luxurious life. And if you see them out in the public, they splash money. Why? What's the difference between the careers then with the salon? What's the difference? Is a lawyer better than a doctor? Is a lawyer better than an engineer? Is a lawyer better than what? An accountant? What's the difference? What has changed in that career path where everybody wants to become a lawyer? I don't understand. So I beg, please, if you're out there and you're a lawyer and you're practicing in Sierra Leone, please tell me what's the difference. What makes everybody wants to become a lawyer in Sierra Leone? Because all the people, almost all the people that I know, we don't leave London or America. Choose for go salon. Most of them are lawyers. Then they go for go practice in a salon. Then they go do the bar in a salon. Why? Why can't you do your bar outside you study? What is so difficult about that? Because I know for say very difficult and challenging for make you do your bar outside you study, especially in the UK. So then all they go salon. Is it about status? When you become a lawyer, that means you're extraordinary. Because they said then quick for say being a lawyer. So what? If you're a lawyer, does not mean you know everything. No. If you're a lawyer, does not mean you know the law better than anybody else. No. If you're a lawyer, doesn't mean you can interpret the law better than anybody else. No. It takes an individual to open the law books and look at what the law says and look at the procedures of what you need to do. So it was a decent career path in Sierra Leone 40 years down the line. When you see somebody and talk to this in a lawyer, a very humble career, where that person they not go be any lesser than 40, 45 years old. A very humble career 40 years ago. Is it the same now? No. Every Tom, Jack, Dick, and Harry is a lawyer. Can you imagine? People that are old, possibly 35 years, or possibly not even 30 years, are lawyers in Sierra Leone. So what's the magic? Now the new wealth career down in a salon? Because I don't see any lawyer in a salon where they struggle compared to where doctor go they struggle for go now in clinic, or they struggle for go work, or nurses then they struggle so much that some might not even get paid. But lawyers, as soon as you don't qualify or you don't pass you back, you don't wear that you weak, you are a different individual now. Case when no matter if you take. You go make that man when not even get nothing himself. But you go tell him say can't put you house down for collateral. Can you imagine? So the amount of people in way they make the system for becoming lawyers, it's ridiculous. So the profession not even gets value and respect anymore. People don't respect lawyers. Me, personally. My opinion. The respect I have for lawyers in Sierra Leone is 20. That day I do myself. I'd be very nice if I say 20% respect. Now I get followers because I have spoken to lots of them, and then they see who side the law they go wrong, but they keep their mouth shut. Why? Why? If you they see say this law they go the wrong way, why would you want to keep your mouth shut about it? What's it make you not get mind for talk about it? What's it make you not get mind for highlight say this is wrong? You shouldn't do this. As a law practitioner, these are the norms. These are the do's and don'ts. Yes, I'm not saying we get criminal lawyers then where you get for proof beyond all reasonable doubt for prosecute that individual if you have a defensive lawyer. I know it's to defend the individual. But most of the cases now you see in Sierra Leone they are not criminal laws. They are not criminal cases. There are very few criminal cases. We they see people where they commit the crime so blatantly in your face. Then they get away with it. Blatantly in your face. Then they hide themselves. In your face. So what does the law say and who interprets the law? And the one way they interpret the law, they better pass the one way right, huh? And the one way they interpret the law, now they're no more knowledgeable for interpret the law in that way. Because if the Supreme Court that should interpret the law and make a judgment of any discussion based on how the law should be interpreted, and then start getting your issue of concern, who will you trust? Who do you go trust? Let's be honest. Who do you go trust? Bang, 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 bang. If you get to that situation, the way you get for begin think about the judiciary. Okay, now this the law say. Okay, now that the law say. You will see the evidence, but they will keep the evidence. The evidence will disappear overnight, and you can't do nothing about it. Nothing. In your face. And you go see some man say, I will tell you, I will get power. Is that the law? Some man go tell you, I will tell you, I will it. Is that the law? So man go tell you, I come, you go back just now. So they deal with you first now. Is that the law? So the law gets in your own twist. I know when you meet somebody who is very knowledgeable, it go interrogate you, question you, and put you in a position where you're not going for come out. That is when you're talking about a defensive lawyer and a criminal lawyer where they prosecute and the other one where they defend. So for make you get somebody where they challenge the law as alone, I don't think that's a bad thing. It gets in your own disadvantages and it gets in your own advantages as well. Because we don't see how the law don't become so biased in Sierra Leone with the lawyers then where they execute and interpret the law. Well, then they interpret the law, they need the executor. Now the police then they execute the law because they tell you if you go out, they arrest you. Because you don't break the law. The law then they interpret them no more. Okay, now if the police where they execute the law, they commit the wrong crime in executing the law, who are they prosecuted? Who are they hold them accountable? Who are they judge them? Who are they take them to court? Who are they discipline them? Nobody. Because if policeman take advantage of you and is blatant, and then that civilian decide for take the police to court, because you're not taking the institution to court, whose lawyer they can't defend that civilian day? And they tell you plain, say, we're not going for defending, but that case is a big pass way. What do? We don't see how police and not abuse the law blatantly in front of the eyes of civilians. Not to idle, jagan. Both case. Case in the Komaya, in the Komaya. We've seen cases of police officers abusing the law live, on live recordings in Freetown, in Sierra Leone. Both case back still. We don't know whether they don't discipline them, police officers, and we don't know whether they get back to the family for resolve the problem then. Nothing. We don't see police officers and they on kush. Then they touch them because they don't kush. They don't tramadol. or they don't take some substance, we don't make them don't go and fly for and flory. And these are the people who we get gone, we can do anything. Do we know what happens to those police officers? We see a year ago, we see a huge amount of police officers they really humiliate publicly, put in a truck, humiliating them. Okay, that's good. But guess what? There are senior officers that were involved in the crimes where the older one in the for when are petty pushers themselves. They commit a crime, yes. But then trace the roots of the crime where they say they commit. What happens to those police officers? Did we hear anything about them anymore? Whether they've been dismissed or they're still working in the same police force? Was that just a propaganda stunt for made and say we see they clean the city? Okay, what's that all then thing and living there with the we don't see? So the law in Sierra Leone, is it for lawyers or for people who interpret it? That's the question. Because again, if we not get the answers to those questions, nobody is safe in Sierra Leone. Anybody can take advantage of you in the left buff case. Buff case, nobody need to ask question. And when I say buff case, now real buff case. You not get for fet, you not get for make palava, you not get for do nothing about them. It left buff. Nobody need to ask you. All right, so they move on, and we move on out to some of the serious issues that we don't happen over the past couple of weeks. And again, if you watch me, you're watching Sarah Media Live on YouTube and Facebook, and you watch the program How Do You Go Inside the Republic. Okay. Right, so we don't see a lot of drama we don't happen in Sierra Leone within the past couple of weeks. One of which now the first lady interview. The first lady interview, I believe say Boku people in law watch them. It's about an hour and a half long. Very long interview. And the interview entails a lot. You get plenty information we find for make people look into and analyze. If you look into the analysis of what the first lady say about the interview with AYV Gam in office, very sensitive interview, very smart interview, very what's the other word? Sensitive, smart, and it gets in your own kind of controversy, very controversial. Again, the controversy where the interview build, it come off from politics to governance and social issues, and personal as well. So you got 4 categories. And if you look at all those 4 categories, you can see how the first lady begin narrating story from the personal side of things to in political side to in private business and governance. So every element he touch. But there are interesting areas that we touch where now gray areas. You have to make your assumption of what she was saying, or you get to think of what he say, and then you put them into perspective for make you able to understand exactly what he said. One first, the interview to me, my opinion, is too comfortable. Now, like a way they interview somebody, we get so much complex over you. Your questions are just one, and then you allow the person for go explain everything we want for explain without no you know they cut them into anything. You know they ask subsequent questions. It's just like just somebody explaining their story. So that to me was not an interview. It was an explanatory story of the first lady, of the message we everyone for pass to the people of Sierra Leone. And she's very smart. She's a very smart lady. So people they underestimate her. But I think you should not underestimate her because she is not stupid. She's very smart. When I say very smart, very smart. And I'm not saying she's very smart because I want for praise her more. Now, just by in doing them, everything that she has done over the past couple of years in Sierra Leone has been strategic. It tell you, say, I am not a politician. I am not a diplomat. I don't speak with the kind of authority on affiliates have for the talk. I am not professional. But all anyway, just all her story because she's highly political. She's extremely diplomatic when she wants to, and she knows exactly what she's saying and doing at every specific time of in career. You know exactly what you do. So she's a very smart lady, very smart woman, and she knows what she wants. So now when I listen to this interview from the beginning, I've had so many hearsay, you say, this person is saying now, so he's saying now, now they do now, this he make. I'm like, okay, watch this interview. Because the reason we make a drag for can listen to the interview. Now, the response of the interview by Edwin Ajamiru, now make I actually force myself for listening to the interview. So I did. Sat down for almost an hour and a half, listened to every single part of the interview. But like I say, now message it can give to the people of Sierra Leone. And that message is clear. Let's start first with the area where it begin talk about himself, personal being, who is me, what do I do, what thing I don't do in the past, what I've achieved. Yeah, he talk a lot about what he don't achieve, what he don't do. And she's bold enough to say so many things that they were personal to her. But she was willing to say that because she wants to let the cat out of the bag. And by doing so, you will not come back and ask that question anymore when she's ready to do what she wants to do, because you don't let the cat out of the bag already. So there is nothing more you can't ask and wait you don't say. Because she's very good at making references to what she has said in the past and how it's there. Yeah. So everything that she says about herself personally is a disclaimer to say I've said it. So don't ask me that anymore. Check the records, it's there. In family tree, Usai comot, what in it be, what it not be, how it making money. It don't say I'm all. It don't say I'm all. And even challenge some of the areas then we say then the first lady we declare in assets. But declare in assets to Anti-Corruption Commission. And Anti-Corruption Commission refuse. This, they refuse to publish her assets. The reason why she said she did it is because she's coming into a marriage where there are other family or other children being born in that marriage. So basically, it want to go with your assets. So basically, he did a pre-notch, kind of in a way. As in, this is what I have, and this is what I'm coming into. I am comfortably rich, and I'm coming to an environment that is going to make me filthy rich. I don't not to say I'm all, but he just want to tell the world no more say and salon people and say not to the president make and rich. Him don't get in your money done. So now make it do asset declaration to anti-corruption. But we don't know why make anti-corruption not publish that. He say anti-corruption or the government say only on demand. But who should make that demand is who we don't know. Like I said earlier on, the law has its own interpretation. So you don't be come from Usadi now. So if anti-corruption na the institution we get for wait for a request or a demand for make them publish the first lady in asset declaration, then who should make that request? Because if you been telling me who that for make the request until the request for don't come, for make we know which kind of assets it declare before it starts for serve as the first lady. Because that's a very important statement. But again, nobody digs further into that statement because people are just taking it for granted. Oh yeah, and I say it, and I say it. Oh yeah, okay, first lady can talk. So people don't really pay attention to what she's saying. They just listen to the few things that when they use for propaganda or for use for tarnish or for use for make it look like for saying what they say. She knows what she's saying. She's very clued up. So now it's up to you now for make you go ask the question, who than the person way for authorize the request of the First Lady in asset declaration, because asset declaration should be made by every political appointee before you take office. And these declarations should be public property. They should not be in hiding, because that's the problem Donald Trump is facing in America right now, because he refused to declare his assets. He does not want his assets to be in the public domain before he took office. And that is the problem they are faced with him right now. So basically, why should your asset declaration be a secret thing, even though you willingly declare them? So why is anti-corruption protecting that information where you want to make them publicly display? Why? Two questions. Is it because it does not exist, or is it because then you protect that particular side of an image? I don't know. That's the question I will need for ask anti-corruption. And ask and say, Mr. Ben Kefala, the First Lady don't declare assets. Why haven't you published it? Who needs to make a request for you to publish it? Because the First Lady say you or anti-corruption tell and say your assets will not be made public until we have a request or demand for making public. So we are waiting for that individual or that person they wait for make that request or demand, say, the First Lady in declaration, asset declaration for go public. So that is one very smart move. So in our come tomorrow and tell you say me asset declaration dey na anti-corruption commissioner in hand. What is it? I'm not saying, I'm just assuming, and I'm just giving my opinion. Sometime tomorrow down the line, the asset declaration of the First Lady go include everything where it don't achieve, maybe within the past 5-10 years. Don't know. But we all know certain assets have historical representation. If it wasn't there, it will not be there. Some of them you cannot fix. Some you can fix because you have liquid assets where you can fix. But if your assets are statutory assets that exist, for example, buildings, estates, or whatever you might call it, then they exist. But as far as I know, to my knowledge, my opinion again, I know the First Lady was a businesswoman in the UK. She has been into various different ventures. She's very ambitious. She likes to find money. She knows how to find money. She knows how to make money. She's a very business-oriented individual, which I know. My opinion, I'm not sure whether she may have had estates in Gambia. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe I haven't explored that. I haven't seen that side of her. But it might be possible to say, yes, you don't get an estate way, or you don't get estate then way, you don't they build in a Gambia way nobody knows about. Fine, no problem. Again, that's her wealth. That's what she said she owns. That is the business she said she has been doing. The only evidence where that go prove now, if somebody go try for do investigative journalism for see when those buildings were built, when those estates were established, in what year. Like I say, buildings don't lie. If the estate do not exist in Gambia for the past 20 years, they will have shown, then go get evidence say yes, they don't exist for the past 20 years. If they not exist for the past 20 years again, yes, then go still show say these are new estates possibly being built within the past 5, 6, 7 years. So that is not a lie. That is not fact. If na buy, if you don't buy the now, if na build, it build the now, if na recently buy the now, all those evidence will be there. You cannot fix those ones. But it just takes an individual who will possibly get interest over finding out about it, because she keeps saying it. Bring the evidence. So if you get interest and you know for say you want for prove her wrong, go and get the evidence. Because she's throwing challenges at people to do things. If you are interested, you want to prove him wrong, go for it. Go and do it. Chest this evidence and see whether you can find them. If you can find them, publish them. So people will either look at the evidence here and what she has. So you prove the evidence where in gets wrong, making can counter them. But if you put an evidence and you're not able for counter them, that means you're right or that means you're wrong. But if you pull evidence where unable for counter, that means your evidence are correct. So it takes one to be able to do something to prove her wrong or to leave it as it is. So we cannot be making noise about these things if we're not ready to prove it right or wrong. Not so when what I don't pass Gary now go and forget begin making noise. Say, oh, well, if I don't do that, when I do, it don't make sense. So the ranting about the interview about what he say, what he not say, whether or not to school, if you don't believe, go prove her. All me they say is I have no knowledge of her owning an estate in Gambia. I know of a house, but not an estate. But if she says she has an estate, I don't really have time to go and prove that because I'm not challenging anything she's saying. Anyway, I'm just analyzing what she says and how serious we should take some of the things that she's saying. And we're taking some of those things for granted. So we should be very mindful of how we assess her because she's not a stupid woman. She knows exactly what she's doing. I remember 4 years ago, where he make, or 3 years ago, where he make a statement say he go run for flag bearer and SLPP. People thinking she is crazy. That's where we're going now. We don't begin to see the direction of where we are going now. That direction is very clear now. Before, it mean they under the cushion, she just said it once and just leave it. And people rant, Nabakutok boy, no they do I, no get mine. They all get for gold. People take her for granted. But you see how they now? You see how we did now? We did very close to what people and they take for granted a couple of years ago because they underestimated her. And they tell her, say, I am not a politician. She is. I am not a diplomat. Of course she's a diplomat, she's a politician, and she's very clued up in what she's doing. She's very strategic. And when you watch some of the things the way you say, now moving on, they mention the incidents of their convention where they go elect the chairman and other executive members. So strategically, it don't make it clear to you say she's a politician because the way how he work with the former speaker, this guy, they forget his name, the current Secretary General. They forget his guy name anyway. When I be the clerk of Parliament. The way how he strategically tell and say, they won't make you resign at Parliament. Resign. Resign and then you apply for Secretary General for the party. Can you imagine? That's a strategic discussion where he gets with that particular guy. It make it clear to them. But what you delay on this for? Don't delay. You know me, man. I advise you now. Go on for Secretary General na the party. Resign na Parliament. Not be the clerk of Parliament because they want to make you, they want to sack you anyway. Resign commodity, then you go contest for Secretary General. You know me now? Because strategically, you don't know now say the previous Secretary General, Napoleon, in time done. And he's not going to serve anymore. And that gap has to be filled by who? Somebody where in the strategically place politics. And that's how she's thinking. So if Navita say she's not a politician, she is. And that's how she's thinking. Now politics, it don't bring this young man, okay, you are the kind of strategically place you there when a strategic position for me. And then you go resign at Parliament as the clerk. And then you go now take over the Secretary General position of the party. I am not going to put myself forward for any political position in the party. I am a stakeholder already. So I am not interested because I know what I want. So it building a team. That is exactly what she was doing then. In second position, a women's leader strategically placed somebody where for say this na me own person. Now I want today. You go for 4. Bang! You don't get 2 key positions in the party. 2. And those positions are key positions. Secretary General, and women's leader. The other ones are not a problem now. You can deal with them, and then I fringes them. Now you can bring them come on board. Apart from that, the only biggest position at the party, at the chairman, when Bachelor. Okay, they had a very good relationship in the past, and then come pass, rain, come, shine, come, and Bachelor get for fallout. I don't know why, but for some reason, they fall out. And for sure say, like how no more it tell you, and how she said it. I am not going to challenge Bachelor, because guess what? After Bachelor lost the election with Prince Hardin, he starts in campaigns straight away. So Bachelor don't campaign for a couple of years coming into this convention. So Bachelor was strategically placed in the right place without any contender where they can sweep him off that particular position there. He was deemed to be the next chairman of the party. No mistake with that. Definitely no mistake with that. That was clear cut. So what happened now next? I can't say, knows how this my guy come out and we're going to come to 2 months to the election. I'm like, but again, in support anyway. We again in support, for see this guy need to win. But the one the way he being sure say they win, she stood behind them. And he make it clear, say, I did not put in a candidate for certain positions. He also say, I did not fill in candidates for certain positions. This is somebody who is not a politician talking to you. No. A politician is talking to you because it is strategically built in team. So this interview, people just they see the interview, but they're not reading into the interview. They listen to the negative thing the more they want to focus on. Not knowing that the first lady is strategic at the moment. That's why she actually put this interview out. Because she wants to make the world know Uda na me. What thing I don't do. What thing make me qualify. What thing make me not for do A, B, C, D, and what thing make me for do E, F, G, H. That's the reason why she put this interview out to the public domain. Okay, so you know what she do. Anyway, let's go to some of the chats. I don't see my man Steven on cam and a few more other people. Welcome, Jerry. Fatima is smart and streetwise, but not clever. Remember the lyrics of the late Bob Marley. Playing smart, but not being clever. Okay. Now, Steven said the Constitution states that asset declaration should be secret. We have to change that law. The Constitution was reviewed, and those crying today refused to implement. And that was Steven. You're talking about parenterally. Yes, parenterally. That's the clerk. Thank you, Annie. La just put your name down. I did forget him. Okay, and then Steven continue for say, we are not really used to seeing young first ladies in Africa or women in key leadership in Africa. Most of our first ladies in Africa are hardly seen in public. When we see powerful women, man, then they panic. That lady is sharp and smart. Okay, Steven. All right, those are the few statements from Facebook. Can I get none again on YouTube? Just the same person we did it earlier on. When Abdullah Jones. Okay, let's move on. So now we're still there with the interview of the first lady. Okay. So politically, it don't create your own political stance. It don't tell you the political figure that we're in favor of. It don't tell you the one that way it could support, and it don't tell you the one that way it gets a good relationship with. It mentioned David Senge, but not too much because he said they don't have a problem, but they see here and there. But anyway, we all know see there's an issue because they might be all thinking of having the same position when it comes to flag bearership. We don't know yet because no declaration has been made formally. We're just assuming on this particular one. So now move on. On the interview, they also begin asking things about the Ibima situation of the representation, what you think about or whatever might have happened, what are the decision where Ibima they take, and what Ibima stand for. He gave you a vivid explanation of what you think about that anyway. And he mentioned, say, Ibima is an organization where now they decide, right? So what do they decide? They decide on who they want to lead them in the next coming election as their flag bearer. And what influence do you have inside this Ibima? But when you look at them, there are key people where get very strong and direct link with the First Lady. So you don't build your cocoon around that. And that cocoon the way don't build around the Ibima organization, they are influential. And then they listen to them. And that the Ibima they tell the people them who that they want. So when you ask them about the thing and where you don't do no salon, where they say it they embezzle money, it they do this, it they do that, it begin for state thing the way you don't do. Between here and man, they don't build 15 mosques inside Sierra Leone. Again, nobody challenges that. The interviewer did not ask her question, okay, who's at the mosque then they? Can you give us 2 or 3 or 4 locations of those mosques? So if you are actually doing an interview, you will ask subsequent questions. Oh, we don't build 15 mosques in Sierra Leone. I will ask you, okay, who's the mosque then they? For make we able to get reference points, for make we go check them mosque then they. Because 15 mosques in Sierra Leone, not a small mosque. But she was specific where it tell you Usai he don't spend over $14 million na 34 hospital. That was specific. Because there's a living evidence of 34 hospitals say it has been renovated. The amount of money, I'm not sure. But yes, there's a living evidence of 34 hospitals say yes, we don't renovate them and we don't spend this amount of money. But I don't build 15 mosques between me and my man in Sierra Leone. Usai, that question was not further asked. Subsequent questions to specific statement like that is very important. Very important. So now it don't left with the viewers for now begin think Usai the mosque then they 15, yes, 15. Where are they? Where are they located? Who runs them? When were they open? Did we see pictures of the opening ceremonies of those 15 mosques? These are the questions we should be asking for quantify or for rectify or for verify the statement the way it make, where people need to think about. Because they pay less attention to specific facts them and focus on the negative facts the way them fit is not facts. So the narrative way it tell you is politics. And those are all political statements from a woman that says she's not political. Okay, it paid 240 scholarship for 240 students in Sierra Leone for the past how many years? Again, no specifics, because these are all stuff that I am doing, but I don't want to tell Sierra Leoneans because it's my private business. It's my private entity. I don't need to tell nobody. But yes, you are happy for tell the world now, say these are the things that you have done. But when it comes to the fact, say now, okay, then say they use government fund for do all these activities, he says no. Strategic questions with a strategic answer. But why did we not have a follow-up strategic questions to a follow-up statements where the First Lady make? Because she just wanted to be there. And that's it. You go and investigate it now if you want. It's if you don't talk, then a problem. Okay. So now, it don't ask, make their statement they are so, and nobody ask them subsequent questions. The interviewers, they not ask them no subsequent questions about what he mean, who's at the mosque then they, or the beginner we don't pay school fee for. Are they now graduates? Are they still going to school? Are they at university level? What level? We don't know what level. So school fees can be primary school picking. Yes, you can pay 200 school fees for primary school picking. Anybody can do that. Okay, secondary school picking. Yes, people in King Sky for do that. Yeah, I'm not denying that. And then our university students, that's a bit of a concern. 250 or 200 and something is a huge number for university students. So there was no subsequent question to break this down. How many university students are there? How many secondary school kids are there? Are they school kids from the primary sector, JSS1 or SS2 or SSS or university level or whatever level? No subsequent question. I said it, that's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Let's leave it like that and we'll move on. So you see the points where it's got for highlights to you about how people looked at situation they waiting for ask subsequent, because if not me being done, so I ask her more questions. Okay, yeah, you don't do this, you don't do that. Okay, where the evidence of the anything else we don't do? Who said anything? I will ask you. Because I am conducting a genuine interview about what you're saying. I did not put words in your mouth. You said it, so you have to be able to defend it. So if you're saying things that you cannot defend, you're definitely not going to sit on the Sierra Media interview table because you will not get away with that. If you're saying that you have done A, B, C, D, and you don't have any evidence to prove it, who will ask you questions to prove those elements of things that you're saying? If you say that are you private business, fine, no problem, but we'll ask you the question. Okay, you don't build 10 hosts. Who said the 10 hosts that we don't build it? Okay, you get 15 cars. Whose brand cars that you get? What's not the cars, they name them, and who's you buy them? We will ask you those questions because now you talk, not till we talk. Not till we tell you, say, can't tell you, say you don't build 5 school. Now you talk and say you don't build 5 school. Whose school they don't build? Show me the school that you don't build 5. Who's in there? So if you're able to justify your statement, then you cannot sit on our platform because we'll ask you subsequent questions from what you are saying. So that's not the issue the way I feel say the interview being get. They not being get no subsequent leading question then for verify some of the statement and way they make. I don't know the reason behind that. Then they go down to the production team. So moving on. Now you don't talk about all this influential thing the way you don't do at the party, and then the question come in. Are you going to run for the leadership of the party? And he answered the question, did I say that? I didn't say I am. I haven't made any statements. And I didn't say I'm not. So basically, the question that, did I say that? I haven't said anything about me running for flag bearer of the party. But listen to what she says after that. The person where they lead the party for become the flag bearer of SLP come 2028 election. These are the qualities that person should have. The person for don't work, tangibles, not to hearsay, tangibles of physical stuff the way he don't talk, say he don't do, we foresee him. The person forgets a good relationship with the party and the party stakeholders them. The person for be person where the grassroots they select. And the person for be person where they pay in dues, where they pay up XYZZZ. So he lay out all the criteria of the threshold of the next flag bearer. And guess what? She fits into every single criteria that we lay out. Because now I don't tell you, say, you don't build 15 mosques between you and man. They pay up school fees for up to 200 and something students them in Sierra Leone. They do a lot of stuff. They don't build hospital for the country. We not build private house for him mama. You not build private home for him papa. You not build luxurious platform for him family. But he build a hospital or a renovate a hospital where they benefit the whole nation. So these are the criteria. He not just a member of the party. She is not a patron, but like a grand chief, super grand chief, the highest chief patron. And he don't pay in fees them, registration fees them, or subscription fee them up till 2030. Not till 2028, so up till 2030. You know what that means? And the statement we make for back that up, now the fact say If I mean for pay to 2028, they mean for talk say, oh, okay, so you're not interested anymore in the party. Now you make it pay till 2028 because you know for say Emmanuel go in office again. But no, it pay above 2028 to 2030. So it don't even beat the threshold criteria for membership. And in membership now gold platinum on top of the range membership. But he asked the question, who that they make the decision for actually say you when a supreme gold platinum member not qualify? Who make that decision? Very significant question. And indeed, who makes that decision for clarify who is qualified or not qualified? Because we don't see the lawyers them of the party, they differentiate who qualifies and who does not qualify. We don't see Benkefara they challenge Tijansi, say what he talk, you know, they deny say not to true, but you know get subsequent basis of in implementation of what he they say. So they are all interpreting the law in their own ways. We have been talking about earlier on, say who interprets the law. So it brings me back to the same thing where I don't talk about earlier on. Either they interpret the law and either in your interpretation will they accept. Tijansi don't carry with in your own. According to them, X and Y and Y and Y are not qualified. And then Francis Benkefara don't say, wrong statement. You can't determine whether qualified or not qualified because the qualification gets other criteria than way you not talk about. We don't see Pawan himself don't talk whether qualified or not qualified. So again, we have diverse interpretation of the law. That's not the SLPP constitution first, so the law na in the break so that we all man get your opinion. So first lady in your question now, who that they call the shots for identify who qualifies or not. But based on in answers to the question where they ask them if you want run. Now, I'm not telling you I say I dey run. I don't make no public announcements. I didn't say anything about that. And I'm not going to answer the question. So she refused to answer the question. Why? Because the question is directly linked to something we, you know, we'll talk about it. But that is why she puts this interview together. So now the interviewer, the thing that will make her ask the question of why I should actually watch this interview. Now the Edwina Jamiru Ion issue on the interview. But I left that for because I know like the last part of the interview. Make a last part of my discussion. Man, not bring a coming. Now let's go to the area where the first lady talk about. You know Insai the Bank of Sierra Leone Day. If na compose you for make it sabi day. You know even sabi the bank governor in person. If it's not front me now, so I not sabi am. Hey, very serious statement from the first lady. Really? If the bank governor chinap now, so you know sabi am for Tukutuku. Okay, let's say you are you for sabi am. If you know sabi am, let's say you one or two reasons why you for sabi the bank governor if it's not front you. But I'll read 2 or 3 more messages that we don't come. Now the Facebook. Oh, Stephen, hi, welcome. Happy New Year to you. Hope you are doing good, my brother. You lost, so I don't know if you been there Kailang or you just come out Kailang come. And I need say make it a bill in Empire fine. But Fatima will never be president in Sierra Leone. Okay. She also claimed that she paid for parts 2 years straight from her pockets. Yes, she said that. I'm not going to mention what you say, but yes, she said that. But also, after the first 2 years where he paid for the sanitary pads from in pocket and distributor all over Sierra Leone, when are some of the things then where he highlights say he don't do, we're going to make it qualify tomorrow because he don't do tangible things the way people they see with their eyes. When are some of the things in any way the next flag bearer for possess? And when you look at all the flag bearers right now where they show face, they don't have any tangibles of things that they have done in Sierra Leone for sure say they are capable to lead the party. So the party they rely on them physical tangibles then they were in on highlight so say in don't do, or then get other criteria where they make them become flag bearer property. Okay. So yes, Stephen, thank you for highlighting that. So you don't pay 2 years for sanitary pass we come up from your own pockets, but at the same time, we see a lot of fundraising activities the way you do within Sierra Leone and bringing so many other people in for can work alongside them. Again, officially, after that first 2 years, now the president get involved, where you see, well, the government go take over and begin help them for buy the sanitary pass them for do national distribution. Okay, fair enough. It's a good initiative, and that initiative they take them to a different level of voting hands of our girls supposed to do. Although me still get question mark in the whole idea of hands of our girls, because I think say it's a very good initiative, but maybe just about maybe has not been executed well at all. Reason for that is plenty. I get a reason why I feel to say Hands of Our Gas project has not been executed well. It's a very good initiative that could have changed the dynamics of how people look at Hands of Our Gas as a project as it is right now compared to the way how it been there before, and how if I don't look like in a holistic way of how them if I don't actually handle them. I think so then get some issues the way they get for deal with Hands of Our Gas projects we make it derail at some points before it can begin gain momentum back again. Because there are serious issues that have happened in Sierra Leone for the expect Hands of Our Gas to become a strong pioneer for push those agendas. I don't know whether they were politically aligned. That's why they did not actually push some of those agendas to the extreme or chase those agendas to the root cause of it. But that is down to the structure of what in the organization decide for do anyway. But I think that particular project, Hands of Our Girls project, is a very, very good initiative that will have built a strong backbone for supporting child abuse cases in Sierra Leone. But again, we didn't see any of that. Although it might have happened, but we don't know. But anyway, that's my opinion on the execution of Hands of Our Girls as a project. So now let's move on. So when he mentioned, say, in Sabusai Bank of Sierra Leone Day, that was a serious statement. Because if you go Sierra Leone and you go Freetown, you live inside Freetown. Don't get me wrong, people in there Freetown will not sabi certain strategic place in a salon. Then I go tell you for sure. Because I know beaucoup people that will not sabi outside Eastern Police Day. I know beaucoup people that will not cross Eastern Police. I know beaucoup people that will not sabi outside Upgun Day, then just they read the name. I know beaucoup people that will not even sabi outside Kisi Day, Shell Day. They haven't gone beyond PZ. Some people that I know have not gone beyond PZ where they live inside Freetown. Some people that want to know no longer beyond Lumley where they live inside Freetown, where something at the extreme eastern part of Sierra Leone. They don't get the only side that some of them don't stop something Upgun or something maybe Eastern Police. Some they will not go beyond Eastern Police yet. Some they will not go beyond Upgun yet from both sides of Freetown. So if the first lady say Inosabi Usai Bank of Sierra Leone Day, I will ask further questions if I was the one interviewing her. I tell you why. Because Bank of Sierra Leone they hide. Now one of the most prominent buildings in Ashaka Stephen Street. It there opposite another prominent institution. And it there adjacent other prominent institution. So Bank of Sierra Leone is right bang in the middle of passport office, whether on the right hand side if you look post office, and the locus there on the left hand side if you still look at post office. That is where Bank of Sierra Leone is located. right bang in the middle of Freetown. Because just when you take less than 2 minutes walk, you get the cotton tree, and that cotton tree takes you up to State House. For like somebody, they commute na Freetown. It dey comot from Eastern to Western. It dey pass na Sheikh Stephen Street. It not get knowledge of Bank of Sierra Leone, then that somebody is somebody else. Because you might not know the building as Bank of Sierra Leone, sometimes maybe, just about maybe, I go allow you for get away with them. If you talk say you don't know the building wey name so, then sometimes maybe, just about maybe, I go allow you for get away with that kind of not knowing things in Freetown. But if you say you don't know them at all, you know what they say, that poses another serious question. And the question to me, I will ask, okay, Madam First Lady, who say you dey pass where you dey go na the eastern part of Sierra Leone? I know you go use the peninsula at some point, but you don't do rallies in Freetown. You don't do campaign in Freetown. You don't rally in Freetown several times. Forget about even political rallies. You grew up in Freetown at some point. You spent some time there. Where you come up Konokan Freetown during the war. And you be the Konokan Freetown on a regular basis. You seriously want to miss, South Bank of Sierra Leone? Baby, no joke. I find that to be very, very strange. But anyway, it's not so you say. But I just want to make a clear cut statement, say there is no way you could tell me, Sabusa Bank of Sierra Leone. For various reasons why they can't come to now. Various reasons why they can't come into. Because you were accused a couple of years ago, say you go to Bank of Sierra Leone for go take money where the government forgive you for run the office of the First Lady. That was an accusation. But maybe they may have seen you going in there once or twice, or sometimes staff the way they don't see you, or sometimes somebody they don't see you where they enter the Bank of Sierra Leone, possibly go for maybe the sports cash to you or check or whatever it is. I'm not sure. But I'm just saying you were accused a couple of years ago for saying you did go to Bank of Sierra Leone for go take cash for one office of the First Lady, which you have practically denied to say that didn't happen. And again, when evidence come up, you also say that you dish out the order for make them give money, not to you. So basically, we don't get a clear-cut statement there back as well. Okay. And then there are two key individuals that we supposed for the visit your husband on a regular basis in Sierra Leone. And those two individuals are very key to your husband's presidency and how the economy of Sierra Leone will be run. One, now the bank governor. Two, now the Minister of Finance. Those two people are appointed by the president of Sierra Leone, and that president of Sierra Leone is your husband. They may have not paid private visits to the house of the president, State Lodge, but I guarantee you, you may have met those two people possibly once or twice, or maybe more than 5 times within the past 7 years as the First Lady. Okay, these are newly appointed individuals anyway, but I believe, say, before their appointments, the president may have asked them to pay visits to the State Lodge, maybe not once, not twice. Maybe they have visited him, or they have met with him at home, or they have met with him at the State House, or at some point they don't get some form of interaction. And you should know these two people by face, not so even by name self. You for sabi them by them face, jangan. And if you not sabi them, then for sabi you. If they not sabi you, then a problem. Me, I dey make am clear. Say if those two people, the bank governor and the Minister of Finance, not sabi you, First Lady, is a problem. Not a problem. Because they for sabi you. They don't sabi them bossing ref. It's not possible. Not so even inside London, self, even inside America, the chancellor in WEF and the prime minister, then they meet. They meet at dinners. If the chancellor they go visit the prime minister, not at all times, but there are times when they go for dinner, they will take their partners with them. In official meetings, they take their partners along. And they know each other. They will introduce themselves. Oh, this is Mr. Chancellor Exchequer, and this is my Prime Minister, this is my wife. They know each other. There is no secrets, no hiding behind that. Then sabi themselves. And guess what? If those two people don't know you, then it's a call for concern. But they should know you. And you for sabi them. By face and by name. But for make you say, if them put them two people, they also self-front you. Especially the bank governor, you know go stab you. Hi. And a strong statement too. But anyway, Tina, so you say, we'll not go judge you. But I go find a number very strange for make them two people you know sabi or you know sabi them. Very difficult for find out for say you don't know who the bank governor of Sierra Leone is. You can't if you stay and say it's enough phone so you not go for identify them. That's very strange. But I give you that because I don't want for dwell on that for too long because those are very significant facts. We are fit to say me for longer subsequent question like why I say so. But how come she not sabi the bank governor? You know one day pay visits to your husband when he didn't host for discuss some serious issues then we cannot be discussed during office hours. You know one day come now you host for visits with his wife or with anybody or whenever it gets time for visit the president, you're not even you know they give any form of hospitality to welcome him home. Come on, you should be asking those questions because again, it's practically impossible. It's practically impossible for make somebody of that caliber, you know, sabi him. You're not able for identify him if it's not front you say this is the bank governor of Sierra Leone. And the worst of it all, you know, even sabi usai the Bank of Sierra Leone building there. So to me, that was a huge question of that particular thing there. But I left answer because at the end of the day, now you word against whoever they listen to you, including myself. But I go just get huge doubt number for not say you know actually know then two people and they especially the bank governor or the minister of finance because these are key people where they make you husband in government get a stable economy because they decide on what should be spent and who money should be disbursed to. And if you not get no, you don't have to have a relationship with them, but at least you should know them. But if you don't know them at all, then that raises like a huge concern, in my own opinion, for realize that. So let's come to the end now as we're wrapping up. I don't see two messages don't come on YouTube. Let's see if I can read them quickly through with my glasses because I'm using my phone on YouTube. Okay. Myrak went on the web. She has not done anything outside of the remit of the office of the First Lady. If her activities so far is because she aspires to contest for office, then she has not been truthful about her role. Again, Myra also say, is she not supposed to welcome someone like the bank governor into the role after appointment, or does the bank governor not attend state functions? Exactly. That's my point. That's the point I was making earlier on. Because it's very strange. But anyway, that's you. We can now go and think about that. Because that's now food for thought for us. Because that is exactly what he doing at this interview. He left beaucoup things them unfold. Because he want like we go think about them. Because he want like we go decide. So if he do that and we not question that at all, then I will fault. But if you do that and they will question them, why is the interview to go on, then it makes it a credible interview from the people that will conduct them. I'm not saying it's not credible, but I think it's a very stage managed interview, because if you look at all the criteria of the question being asked and allow the first lady to go and talk for like a minute or two or three without no interruption, it means she's explaining her story. She's explaining what she wants to do, what she has done, and how she's going to implement it. That's the whole idea. So the majority they get prompters. So I'll prompt you to do the next, and I'll prompt you to say the next thing, and I'll prompt you to talk about it. So they were giving her prompters for her to explain in details of what he wants Lake the country know about Usaide, what you don't do, and how he plan for execute them. So that is some of the reason why I said I will actually spend time and analyze this interview. And if you look at the interview from one side of you thinking who she is, then you'll be able to understand exactly who the first lady is. If you look at from the other lens and try to find out what is capable of doing, then you might be in the middle because you're not sure what she's capable of doing here or what she's capable of doing the other way around. Because it don't tell you a picture, we don't clearly state, say, I am not a politician, I am not diplomatic, and I just say things as I like. Sometimes I regret some of them, sometimes I don't. And the fact of the matter is, she's a diplomat. She can speak diplomatically. That's one. And she's a highly placed politician, because it play politics to the highest, and she is also strategic about politics. And not just they play politics, but she's strategic. And I always say to people in a way they underestimate her, knack near the left panam. Because when you knack him, if you go, he set, and then he come back. When she's coming back, she's coming back with style. And when they come back with style, either they lock you out, or you go keep your mouth open for long, because you will be in limbo. You'll be extremely shocked that she might be coming up with something that you least expected. So when in the facts, it don't tell you back again clearly say inside this interview, it a peak in facts where the facts. And the user making mention that now where he highlights, where they ask what's your relationship with Sylvia Blyden? As you don't see all this stuff the way they do around, she was your friend and you're not in good times anymore. I know it's for thought. Again, strategically. She wanted to clear that doubt, that element of doubt within relationship with Sylvia Blyden. That's why they brought in that particular prompter. And what she says, she's my big sister. She's always been my big sister. And it make reference of how far they've known each other. She's a very smart one. She knows exactly what she's saying. So it drag in the relationship of Ian and Sylvia dating back 20 more years than or even more. Go back maybe 20 something years down the line, where Sylvia visited him na Gambia. Not once, but twice. And Sylvia put up na a house for establish she owns a house in Gambia. So she's not just saying that, but she also wants to establish the fact that she owns a house in Gambia, and Sylvia don't visit him well over 20 years ago. We're not getting no dealings with the president right now. For tell you back again, say, she has accumulated that wealth before she became the first lady. Just for reaffirm everything that she's saying. She goes back to history and confirm. She comes back and highlights. And she goes back and confirm and come back and highlights in the present. But you see what he end up for say with Sylvia? She's my older sister, and everybody respects each other's political strength. Everybody respects each other's political alignment. But she's supporting her because she's happy where Sylvia don't come out for announcing she's interested to be a flag bearer. Because it also highlights, say, APC is not just any other party. It is one of the biggest political party in Sierra Leone. And for make Sylvia as a woman putting herself forward for say he want for challenge the flag bearership competition na the APC, he give him high respect because he dey put woman in the position where they supposed to be for challenge the men them in political positions, which is very good. But when asked, so you go support Sylvia if you come out for become interested in being a flag bearer. Now they answer the question, say, and then they answer that question there. You know, says nothing to nobody. Okay. So now the question where actually prompts me for make I actually watch this interview. Now the Edwina Jamiru situation. So basically I saw Edwina's video and it just come up on my feed. Like I said, always things come up on my feed does not necessarily mean they're rubbish, they're crap. I look at what I need to watch and I did select what I did watch and what I need to watch. So it starts like where president they give speech, it address the nation. now that I find very interesting for start drinking coffee. So Edwina starts on a very high level of addressing the people of Sierra Leone. And it begins for talk. She carries on talking about the things that she has gone through. She's been raped. She's got issue with a she's got issues with Justice Momoja Stevens, Inborn Forum in Peking Legit. She has a battle to fight on her own. First Lady did not support her. And what First Lady has done to her, she remembers that, but she was giving strict warning for First Lady not to cross her boundaries. So the two things I picked up in her discussion or the message we've been sending out now, crossing boundaries and personality. And during the First Lady interview, it just bring this incident of this discussion where they talk about what you have done and how they need to appreciate Hands of Our Girls program, where he mentioned say this speaking we been get this problem with this lawyer guy. Now they didn't say Edwina. So yes, that speaking day. She talks a lot about Hands of Our Girls, how the program now XYZ, the program not so serious program, you know, better. But he failed for realize say, now me they pay in school fee. And he end up for the sleep around. Okay? So that was just like a shock to even the interviewer that was them. Okay, we nobody expect this anyway. But that's First Lady for you. He can say anything. And he like I say, at the plan for cancer this, so she can say anything. And that is how she goes around and make the claim say, I am not a politician. I am not diplomatic. It means I can say anything that I want to say. But you're the First Lady. You have to be very careful of what you're saying because everything you say is a policy statement because you are the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone. So you have to be mindful of your words. Very mindful of them. So that's still the conversation we make Edwina pick up a response. But Edwina in response is geared towards certain things that we now like we say like not a norm in society. Why are we saying it's not a norm in society? Because in Sierra Leone we don't challenge authorities. That's not one. When I say we don't challenge authorities, anybody where they one level ahead of you is a superior individual towards you, and you should not challenge that person. Why? Even if the person do wrong, you should not challenge them. Even the person do wrong, you should not highlight that this person has done wrong to me and I'm not happy about it. We should stop thinking like that because again, you can challenge authority, but you cannot disrespect authority. That's two different things. So what Edwina actually did was challenge authority and Fontaine possibly likely goes to the extreme of challenging authority. I don't know why she did that, but I think if immediate sky for challenge the First Lady say the First Lady has no right to say such things about her, I think she has a right to say that because again, If the First Lady knows that she is sleeping around and can justify it, then that's fine. But that is a blanket statement where I feel say the First Lady shouldn't have said. In that particular interview, it was not necessary for mention even that. Because one, this now already an incident we don't create a lot of hoo-ha within the media landscape in Sierra Leone. It don't make a justice don't actually lost in job, because I don't think whether he's going to be reinstated again. Although I don't know whether he's still under suspension. It don't create a lot of concern over rape in Sierra Leone. It don't create a lot of concern over the fact, say, the faculty of Sierra Leone, when at the highest faculty, when at the Fuabe College, don't get an issue of concern with their lecturers and students. So this particular issue is very sensitive. And the individual involved has gone on and on and on about in case. And she has fought it all the way through for gain some elements of credit, where I think she gained not just on her own, but from few support surrounding her as well, where most women are definitely not comfortable to get involved in that discussion. So it gets people away there now inside, but not coming publicly. Again, like I said, it gets people away they support, say your cause is the right cause, we are with you, but they refuse to go public. When some people then begin realize the problem where this particular incidents they build, the one that will be the support and publicly back off, because they begin protect their own image and their own platforms. So she single-handedly continued the race. She may have support around her, but I don't know how much support she galvanized with around women. Initially, women they may support her. All man be pushing case, but again, these are people who are content creators. So they were building content for their own platforms. So I don't know whether the support was genuine enough, or the support was just for them to create content on their own platform, because they were using her image, they were discussing her issues, they were pushing her agenda to create content for themselves. And then content rating, they go up because of this incident, because it's all about women empowerment. Initially, that's what it looks like. So for First Lady highlight this particular incident of this particular girl, to me, was not totally necessary. Because the interview be going at the direction where in be one time. Now this only incident and few more others make the interview go out of range, because this was totally out of range. Yes, people are criticizing Hands of Our Girls. They are saying so many things, but you don't justify them. You don't showcase what Hands of Our Girls don't do. Hands of Our Girls don't make pikine get valued as salon. Hands of Our Girls don't put many pikine to school. Hands of Our Girls don't get graduate the way don't graduate today, because they don't give woman or pikine girl child them the power for get education. So yeah, you don't justify Hands of Our Girls, even though people they criticize them, even though me say get my own concern about how Hands of Our Girls don't operate over the past couple of years. It could have been better, but guess what? You have done something. Still, even the distribution of sanitary pads is something. To me, that is not tangible enough for a project like that, but again, it's something. Every little helps. So for the fact say every little helps, you should have some elements of credit for Hands of Our Girls. I'm not saying you can totally not get any credit for that. That will be wrong. So for the fact that you've done something, how little that something is, you have created an awareness of Hands of Our Girls, although it not creates huge impacts, but it could have been better. Now somebody or yourself should possibly have to work on that and build a strong brand around Hands of Our Girls, because it's a very good initiative, like I said earlier on. So what if we don't see in the statements where you make further into the support network of Hands of Our Girls has nothing for refer to Edwina too. And especially with the kind of statements we make for refer to specifically. That to me was not right. That to me was wrong. Because you are a state individual, you are the first lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, your words should be thought of. You cannot just say certain things publicly and that's it. Now you say so nobody will not for question you. No, there are times when we should be able to question authorities because again, that is what democracy is. Again, you see how Donald Trump they behave in America. They do all what feel for do, but they are still questioning him. People they still stand up to, and this is the president of the free world, the president of the Republic of America, the United States of America, free world. But in the question, anytime it bring out something where not they we're not in at the value of the Constitution of America, then they attack them, then they challenge them. State governors in the challenge them, mayors in the challenge them, sitting senators in the challenge them. They challenge him every day. Even though the buck stops at him, they are challenging him every day. People go out and publicly say, don't come to my state. Don't come to my city. Your Icemen are terrorists. They are this, they are that. So don't bring them to my city. Then they challenge him every single day in America. And this is the president of the United States of America. And he's been challenged in that way, both by politicians, business people, actors and actresses, civilians, civil societies, everybody will disagree with in-laws the way it don't try for implement. So it is not wrong to challenge authorities. It is not wrong to say things if they do it wrongly. There is nothing wrong with that. But again, you should not go beyond and possibly insult. Now, if you look at the Jamiru statements, all the things that she said, some of them can be offensive. Yes, I totally agree with you because we don't know what the boundaries of the First Lady is or are. Do they have boundaries? Yes, of course, they do have boundaries. What are their boundaries? That is what we don't know because the law has not interpreted to us what's in at the boundaries of the First Lady in Sierra Leone or what are the boundaries of any First Lady. All I know, the First Lady is capable of running a program that is non-governmental as one of the duties that we if we execute as the First Lady. And that's exactly what's in the First Lady to do where you bring hands of our girls projects. Should the First Lady be involved in the political running affairs of governance? No. Definitely not nothing for Duta. Should the First Lady involved in the political running of a political party? Maybe, because it's a political party. Yes, she can be involved in that. Is the First Lady have the right to tarnish any individual or any citizen of Sierra Leone? No, she should not do that because she should be representing to the fullest. So these are some of the criteria, but we don't know what are the boundaries of the First Lady in Sierra Leone. So when Edwina they make reference to you don't not cross your boundary, it sounds very offensive, but we don't even know what the boundaries are. We don't even know what the boundaries are. So until we begin to know what the boundaries are, sometimes maybe we go say yes, it don't cross in boundary. But on a logical platform of self-human thinking, I am just saying, I'm not sure whether that's the boundary Edwina they talk about, but the boundary of saying publicly, you they sleep around, maybe that's the boundary she's making reference to. I'm not sure, I'm just assuming now. And if somebody publicly tell you, say, come on, but you sleep around, and there is no evidence to back it up, then you can take that person to court for defamatory of character. Because again, yes, that can be a civil case. But how does the law interpret that? Well, who got arrested? Now, Jamiu. Apparently, they say they're not arrested. I don't know whether they're not fight. So these are the concerns. So when I listen to Jamiu in statements where he make, it may get for force me now for go listen to the First Lady interview Because I know why nobody tell me saying so you see or not so you see. I went for a year, I'm first hand. So I listened to the entire interview. So now the question where are they throw out there? What are the boundaries of the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, if she has one? Is she supposed to be involved in political dispensation of how the government is run? I don't know. Is she supposed to be actively involved in her political party affairs? I don't know. What in I know no more, the First Lady of Sierra Leone should always have a project where it is champion as the office of the First Lady in Sierra Leone. And that project has to be a non-governmental project, so it will work alongside NGOs the way they operate in the country. That I know of. But I don't know of any other boundaries that she may have or with the First Lady govern around. But what thing we need to do now, Salona, for ask these questions? And if we not ask these questions, we will not know what are the boundaries. Because for cut a long story short, Edwina in statement was very bold and strong and direct. And it puts elements of respect and challenge inside in statements as they go along. I will respect you of the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, but you should have your boundaries. Okay, those are two conflicting statements. I will respect you as the First Lady of the Republic of Sierra Leone, but you know for cross your boundary. What's on a boundary? What thing that the boundary will make reference to? We don't know. Now the boundary of the statement will make it cross, or it don't cross other boundaries then. But she only made one statement, and that's it. Not even up to 30 seconds or 1 minute we talk about her. But an interview will last for 1 hour, 30 minutes or so. So that now the only thing where Boku people then pick out of that interview day, and the fact say you know Sabusa Bank of Sierra Leone and you know the bank governor. Those are the few controversies. But the interview is very deep. So Edwina Institutional don't drag a whole heap of discussion. We don't create even more problem within the judiciary. Now, like I say, my bone of contention on this particular discussion today is surrounded around the judiciary and who interprets the law in Sierra Leone. And I'll tell you why. After the statement of Jamiru, where it don't come out, then say they arrest him. Okay. I don't know why she was arrested, whether or not for the statements we make, or not for the statements we make. They arrest him. Okay. They don't left him. I don't know yet. But what should have happened for make them arrest him is what I don't know. Is it others from above we make them arrest him? And this is not the first time she's been arrested for statement that she's making. And at some point, Jamiru institution don't challenge the judiciary of Sierra Leone a lot. Because they don't allow this young girl for take the law to it don't challenge the law of Sierra Leone. Say, what right do I have as a citizen and a rape victim to be able to voice out my position of where I stand? Or what right do I have as a rape victim and somebody that has been taken advantage of to be able to voice out the way I feel? When you look at in situation, I will say some of the other things the way it alleged say wrong. To me, she's an adult. Yes, Justice Momoja made a mistake of in career and in position of trust. He compromised them for do what you do. But she's an adult. But when he mentioned about the rape case where the rape case where he highlights where he been younger, again, that's a serious issue. Has she been actually cancelled for that? We don't know. Which kind help and support he don't get for that particular incident that will happen to her? We don't know. Was the perpetrators chased? or arrested? We don't know. And he's saying, I'm a man, rape him. Okay, so now when they look at a rape victim here, that should not be an issue of victimizing her for saying no get right for talk or like it's done the on a small pikin and this and that. No, this is a very sensitive issue. So if you get somebody who don't go through such trauma and you don't come again, don't go through another trauma with the justice Momoja situation, we don't drag this man to court, we don't make them don't suspend him in position, he don't lose in job now for a big college. Well, I don't know if he lost in job now for a big college, but I think they should sack him at Faber College anyway for disciplinary issues them. I don't know for the judiciary, but for the institution for actually suspend them for discipline. But again, it don't challenge the justice system. It don't tell them, say, when I go do DNA, this man ain't give me belly, I ain't not picking it. And the DNA prove, say yes. So that alone, now in your success story. And if you're not being challenged the law, you know me forgets to that stage, they forget the success story. So she has been successful in getting one victory of something where it effects for. Maybe the other she will not get it. But look, vandalize them, or we trash them, or we say so many things about her way they demean them already. Because again, she has the right to challenge authorities if they do wrong. Like I say, there is nothing wrong with challenging powers to be. Because if we afraid for ask questions and challenge powers to be in our society, we create a platform where we not get right for talk. And salon de like Dandy. Salon, if somebody there above you, small self, you cannot challenge that person. Then they ask you, say, you know that, Abi? Like I said earlier on of the lawyers, then quick and tell say, you know, say me a lawyer. So that means you should not challenge them because they are lawyers. Who says so? What it make you if they say you qualify not for challenge you because you're not a lawyer? What it make you say you qualify not for challenge you if you don't break the law? What it make you say you qualify not for challenge you because you get powers then that you earn? Of course you do wrong. Because we are all humans. So if you refuse not to be challenged, you put a barrier wall in front of you, say nobody need to challenge you, regardless of what you say or what you not say. I think we should be thinking about that. Because it might not hurt you today, but sometime tomorrow, it will affect you. Because you can walk down the road, somebody take advantage of you. Just because that person is a minister or an MP or a lawyer, you have no right to challenge them. I'll give you an example. With the drive in a free turn, Commander Moriton, this guy they come up behind with full speed. And this is like a small road, Moriton Road. And they do possibly 70, 80 miles an hour. Behind me, I don't see any car. I'm like, how can you drive like this? I don't know who the person was. I don't know that it be safe. But I'm like, no, you can't drive like this in a small place like this, with a small road, we get picking them around and people in the past going about their business. The guy can't pass with full speed. A challenge and small, but I realize it's very dangerous because now tight road with it. More you turn road tight and you go do only 50, 80 miles an hour, they come up behind from somebody, they do something 40 miles an hour. So myself I press. That press, they were pressing self press more. So I slow down. Where I reach now the barracks. Now I slow down. Can pass me with full speed. As we go up, Congo cross, then pull me over. Pull over. What happened? Pull over no more. Okay. I pull over. Again, the law. Somebody there now a position of trust. But at the moment, a one for can take advantage. Any police officer will pull me over. He said they arrest me for what thing? For what thing? For overspeeding. I say, how you they arrest me for overspeeding at Moriton Junction where you not been there? Because if you been there, I can understand why they arrest me because you see what's happen. But you not been there. Also, you see where I overtake or where I overspeed, where you not been there. Oh. Why me they argue? Why not for argue? Because you were not there in the first place. So you cannot actually arrest me for something that you were not present in. Would I tell you say I overspeed? Now that person then now wants to be. Because the person then be the overspeed anyway. Fortunately, again, would I interpret the law? And I see one deputy minister, they come out na the police station. And I say, Mr. Minister, see what you doing now? I don't know. This police officer say like I pull over because he say me they overtake or me overspeed now more return road, but it not been day. Now so the country they operate now. This was like 10 years ago. So now so the country they operate. So for the fact say, then see me, I talk to another minister, then feel say myself get powers to be. So then panic. Then say me they left me like I go. I say no, you didn't left me like I go. I they left you now for make you go another way go. I say, I want really know why you want for arrest me where you know been did. And guess what? The person who say me they arrest me was a senior citizen where then at the police force. A very senior individual na the Sierra Leone police. Na in drive so. And you expect me for say the law then I wanna answer. What if you been go bang somebody killer? Buff case. Why? Because you know a very senior individual na the Sierra Leone police. So you get the rights for break the law? You don't have the right to break the law. You don't get the right for overspeed. You were not on duty. It was about 6 o'clock in the evening, sun just about to set. So we got to be very mindful of how we they go at people and we they challenge authority. I'm not saying disrespect authority. I'm not saying fitia authority. I'm not saying abuse authority. But they should be challenged. If they have done something wrong, we have the right to question them. If they've gone above the law, we have the right to question them. We have the right to ask questions. I'm not saying we have the right to abuse them. No, we don't have the right to abuse them, but we have the right to ask questions and challenge their decisions and challenge whatever they have done because it is our right to ask questions. If you are in a country and nobody have the right to ask questions, that means we are under dictatorship. Is that what we are under in Sierra Leone? I don't think so. I really don't think so, except otherwise, but I don't think we are under dictatorship in Sierra Leone. We are under a democratically elected government that should execute democracy, and nobody should be above the law. Every individual in Sierra Leone should have the right to ask questions when they believe something has been done wrongfully or when they believe something has not been done rightfully. So if we want for continue for say we need a challenge powers to be, then we are running a Sierra Leone that is not going to be fit for civilians to live. So the situation we make are able to go through all this program today. Now because of that one game statement the way I see this speaking also make, and I realize say I need for watch the interview. And when I watch the interview, I'm like, I have to analyze this interview because this interview gets boku in the way people will not see. And the thing that people will not see where boku on this interview gets for manifest itself in the next couple of months. And when it manifests itself in the next couple of months, people will see exactly where the First Lady was going with this interview and why she decided to conduct this interview in her premises, so she's going to be in full control of it. And that is exactly what she did. And she executed the way she wants to execute it. She says everything exactly that she wants to say, and she did everything she wants to do in that interview. The way she wants it, how she wants to say it. She hasn't been challenged. She hasn't been asked subsequent questions to prove some of the things that she was saying. It just happens the way she wants it. So sometimes when we see these things happen, look, we not just assume and think, say, it's all well and good. That's it. We should not talk about it anymore. You don't talk, I don't done. No. Sit back and listen to it properly. Because now the same thing then they happen. So they have a constitutional review and people have not actually looked at it. And now the interpretation of that review document is going to create some serious issue in actually finalizing that document. Because two parties are now going to argue for and against that particular review. They are fighting for this clause that section is not right. This section should be interpreted this way. This is your opinion of this section. We all know, say, the justice system is being wrapped up. So whatever happens, it get for go now the Supreme Court where they go actually interpret the review constitution. And we know for sure, say, now what's in them once, then they happen. We don't get in a system of election we not supposed for be. Not supposed for be. But guess what? Then pass the law. Say we they do PR system. And PR system in Sierra Leone was doing the war. And we know the reason why make them pass the PR system during the war, because they want people to be represented in areas that they cannot reach because they are still war-torn areas. That is why we have the PR system put in place. And why you get PR system, you don't do census? Why you get PR system where for say you have constitutional division in the country? Every area is being divided, is being constitutionally erected by PPRC or whoever runs the elections. You don't need a PR system in that system because the system already operates. We just finished a democratic election not long ago, and we come into a new election, a PR system, and the system is still there. We're not there into war. We're not there into anarchy. The country not there at any unrest. Interpretation of the law. And we see how they challenge the people in a way write the constitution, where some of them is still there alive. So it is very confusing for we don't know who that they interpret the law and how the law should be interpreted. So if you're taking anything home today, I want you to take home two things. As Sierra Leoneans, we have the right to ask questions or challenge authorities when we think they have done something that is not correct. Because so many times we see advantage being taken by the authorities to be by the police, by the military, by politicians, by business people, by senior stakeholders in the community. We can't sit back and just allow it to happen just because it's them. No, it's not right. Two, what is the real meaning of interpretation of the law that we have in Sierra Leone, and who that qualify for interpreter? Is it people that we trust for say they're going to interpret the law will be justifiable for every citizen in Sierra Leone, or for just a specific people and way they govern, or way they in charge, or way one for interpreter for make it suits them? So we got to be very careful of how we look at them things there. So, and next, when you see a picture and you don't know what the storyline is, please find out about the storyline. Don't just assume this picture are the purpose of this reason why make them put them out. Because the picture tells its own story. The caption is not enough to interpret that picture. You should find the real story behind the picture, because somebody wrote a story and used that picture for a reason. So if you don't find out the story behind the picture, don't post it. If you don't find out the story behind the picture, don't propagate it. Find out the story behind the picture, not the caption of the picture, but the story behind the picture. If the picture exists, there is a story behind it. There is no way picture will exist without a story. There is always a story behind any picture that you see on your timeline, on your social platforms, on your WhatsApp, on anything that you do. Find out what is behind the picture so you'll be able to interpret it by the way the picture should be interpreted. So if you're joining us, continue to follow us and continue for subscribe to our page, and make sure say you join we anytime from now for another edition of How They Go Inside the Republic. And I want to say thank you to all the people who make comments on Facebook and YouTube. And I want to say thank you to the dedicated fans that we don't follow we all throughout these years on the various different platforms. We'll go bring a couple of different programs them coming up anytime soon. Again, we get the buzz by Buba JT. We don't do a couple of programs right now. We have a few more programs on the pipeline. And next week, I think we'll get another special guest for the buzz. We will be a live program back again for now on Tuesday. So don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page. Like I say, we did slightly one for transit from Facebook to YouTube, but that's going to be like a slow transition until we get the facts behind it, how we will make the smooth transition into YouTube primarily. And also, don't forget, Valentine is around the corner. It's just a few more days to Valentine. I would say it's about a day and a half more to Valentine because today is almost finished. And take your Valentine out if you can. Valentine should not just be on February 14th. I disagree. Valentine for be every other day. If you love your partner, make sure you give him or her the Valentine she deserves every other day, not just on Valentine Day. Okay? We are lovers because we born at the Valentine one, so we already know what thing for do every other day. So when they begin specifically look at Valentine as a special day of celebration. Valentine they come once a year. Is that the only time you love your partner? Is that the only time you share gifts with your partner? No. You should be able to do that every other day. If you have the opportunity to do that, do that. Some of we don't have the time, but we try. We try as much as we can, even though it's not good enough sometimes, but we still try. So you should try. Don't just leave it to Valentine's Day. So this week there's going to be so many different Valentine activities happening in London. You have Sokinda, you have the other ones, you have Cousteau, you have H&J. So there are a lot of activities happening this weekend, and you should be able to attend at least one of those events because it is a Valentine event and everybody's looking forward to share their love. And again, after Valentine, the next week, possibly we're going to Ramadan. And as Ramadan comes, we should be able to get ourselves ready for Ramadan. For those of you who are Muslims, be prepared. You should be ready. You should be actually doing the preparation for the starting of Ramadan. We don't know exactly yet what date it will fall, but there are rumors to say it will be on the 17th, but we are not sure. Until we see the moon, then we'll be able to know exactly when Ramadan starts. But it's definitely going to be sometime next week anyway. And if you're there watching, don't forget to follow us and don't forget to join us on another edition of How the Go Inside the Republic. From myself and the Sierra Media team and the producers behind the scenes, we say thank you and have a lovely weekend. Don't forget to pray Juma tomorrow. Tomorrow is Juma Friday. I will say Assalamu alaikum and goodbye. See you tomorrow for Juma or see you next week for another edition of How the Go Inside the Republic. Thank you very much and good night.